Hello, my name's Liam, and welcome to my kitchen. Today, we make pizza from scratch. Show. The first thing we want to do is add 1 packet of rapid rise yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And mix it together with a wooden spoon. To this we want to add 1 cup of hot water and 1/4 cup of olive oil. Now we add 1 cup to 1.5 cups of additional flour, about 1/2 cup at a time. Depending on how moist your flour is, you'll be able to get more or less flour into the batter. Once your dough gets to more of a thick consistency, you're just going to want to start kneading the additional flour in there rather than mixing it, since that won't work. Now you don't want to force too much flour into your mixture. You just want enough to make it so that it doesn't stick to your hands anymore. Once you got it to about there, you can probably call it a day. Now what we do is we just pour a little olive oil into the bowl and just grease up the sides of it very well. And then you take your dough, just get grease on it, and now we're ready to let it rise. Now to rise your dough, you just want to place it somewhere warm. I find the oven is a good place. It works especially well if you have a pilot light. Now what also helps is if you fill a casserole dish full of hot water and just place that on the shelf underneath your dough. Remember, we're not trying to cook the dough, so make sure that the oven is turned off. It should take about 30 minutes to an hour for your dough to rise. Now in America there are 2 distinct types of pizza. There's the New York flat style, thin crust, and there's the deep dish Chicago style. Now, so as I didn't have to choose sides, when you weren't looking, I made a second batch of dough. Now the first thing you're going to want to do with your risen dough is just kind of punch it down a little bit. Take it out. Put a bunch of flour on a board like this, and just knead it a couple of times. Try to expand it in a circular fashion. And you just want to get enough flour on it so it doesn't stick. Now that we've got it basically stretched out, we're just going to let it sit for 5 minutes to let the glutens kind of rest up. It's had a rough day. Now that we've let it rest for 5 minutes, we're just going to take take a little olive oil and spread it on your pizza dish, and then take the dough and spread it over that. If you don't have a pizza dish, you could always use just any sort of pie plate, and if you don't have that, you can use a cookie sheet or maybe even tin foil if you have to. You're going to want to preheat the oven to 450 while you're preparing the pizza. Don't try to get it too perfect or anything. You're just going to make pizza out of it. Just make sure that there are no holes in your dough and that your crust goes all the way to the edge as much as you can. This looks about right, so I'm going to add the sauce now. The New York style doesn't want a whole lot of sauce, just like a couple of big spoonfuls probably be more than enough. Just try to spread that all out as evenly as you can. Now it's time to add the cheese. Just Sprinkle that on, it's pretty natural. Now for my pizzas, because I like a lot of cheese, I like to use a whole 12-ounce ball of cheese on the pizza. You use half that if you want just a regular amount of cheese, but whoever wants that. I don't know, maybe you're on the fat girl diet. Now you just add all the other toppings you want. I like to put pepperoni on mine, sort of a classicist, that way. I like to put on a little bit of peppers, various colors. And for more classic Italian flavor, I like to put on artichoke hearts. Again, this is your own pizza, so put whatever you want on there. I mean, you went through all the trouble making your own pizza. You might as well choose the ingredients you like. Now we just slide this in the oven, and it'll take about 15 to 20 minutes for this to cook. It's been about 15 minutes and our pizza looks about done. There you go, New York style. Chicago style is a little bit easier. You just knead it a couple of times. And since you're not going to be laying it all that flat, you can just kind of throw it into the pan right away. Chicago style wants a little bit more sauce than the New York style. Whereas with the New York style you try to use as little sauce as possible. Just get a nice thick layer of sauce in there. Then of course comes the cheese. Get a good thick layer on there. Then you add the rest of your toppings the same way as before. Now for this pizza, we're going to probably cook it for 20 to 25 minutes. And we want it on a little bit of a higher rack setting in the oven, whereas with the New York style we wanted it on the lowest rack setting we could find. With the Chicago style, we want more of a middle rack setting. Looks done. Always remember to turn the stove off. Now there's two popular ways to cut a pizza. You can cut it into 6 or 8 slices. To cut 6 slices, what you do is you make like a peace sign on the pizza. And then you cut those in half. Whereas for 8 slices, you just cut vertically down the center. And then horizontally, and then you cut those in half as well. There you have it, homemade pizza in deep dish and thin crust.